data. The app allows the user to enter a new contact and also to edit a contact and update a contact. To add a new contact, you can click on the Add Contact button and then add a name and then a telephone number and then click on Add Contact button and then go back. As you can see, I added my name as a contact with a number. The application also enables the user to delete a contact. So if I want to delete a contact, I just swipe. And you can also filter or search on the contact name. So if I want to locate a name that includes A, it will locate Andrew, or Fred. And then if I want to update Fred's blog's details, just click on Fred's blog's name here. And then edit the details. Edit the telephone number as well. And then click on Update Contact. As you can see, Fred's blog's details have been changed to Fred to ABC123. And that's the new number. Core Data is a digital filing cabinet for your app. It helps your app store and organize information like names, numbers, or other data in a neat and efficient way. You can easily change and find or delete information when needed. So this is the application we'll be creating. To start the tutorial, we need to create a new SwiftUI Core Data project. Select the app as the application, click on Next, and then enter the product name. I'll just call it Core Data Tester, and then make sure that Use Core Data is ticked, and also SwiftUI is ticked. SwiftUI selected, and then click on Next button. Click on Create, and then you can save it anywhere on your desktop or any location on your Mac. The next thing we need to do now is to create our core data model. The model is similar to a database or class. So to create your core data model, just click on the core data tester file, and then we need to rename the entity. An entity is like a class or an object. It includes attributes and data types. So because we're storing information about contacts or people, just call the entity contact. We can delete this entity, the item entity, and create our own one. So to delete it, just select it and then click on backspace. To add a new entity, just click on the Add Entity button at the bottom. Now we need to rename the entity. Let's call it contact. The contact entity needs to have two attributes, and these are name and phone number. Both attributes are string data types. So click on the plus to add a new attribute. Give the attribute a name, which is called name. And also for the data type, assign it a string. Add a new attribute called phone number and assign it as string data type. And then click on the fourth tab or the fourth button on the right hand pane, which is this one here, and then untick optional, because the phone number is an optional, that's essential. And then do the same thing for name, it's not optional, because the contact needs to have a name and a phone number. And then just go to File and click on Save just to save it. And then the next thing we need to do is we need to create our view model. And the purpose of the view model will enable the application to perform CRUD functionality such as fetch, which is like select, add contact, which is like insert, update contact, which is update, and delete contact, which is delete. And also save contact or save context, which is then insert. So they're the things that we need to do. We need to create a new class and call it contact view model. So to do that, create a new class by holding down the control key, select file, Swift file, next call the new class contact view model, and then click on create. We need to import core data framework as we're using core data, and also we need to import SwiftUI. And now we need to create our class. So type in class contact view model observable object. The reason why the contact view model is observable is because we'll be like watching the class and checking for any changes that happens in the class. Next thing we need to do is to create a publish object variable. So type in at publish bar contacts equals open bracket, close bracket. So the publish variable is an array of contacts. And this publish variable will trigger any updates that happens in the contact view model. We need another publish variable, publish bar search text. And this is just a property to store the search text. We also need a core data context for managing the data. So just type in private var context ns manage object context. The next thing we need to do is to create a constructor. Type in init context ns manage object context self.context equals context fetch contacts. So the purpose of line 19 is to initialize the context. And then, so this is like dependency injection on line 19. So we're passing in our object that we want to be initialized. And then after that, we need to create another method called fetch contacts. And fetch contacts will fetch all of the contacts from the database, from the data table. So type in function, fetch contacts. Let's type in let request ns fetch request contact equals contact dot fetch request. So line 26 creates a fetch request for the contact entity. So how this works, when the fetch request method of the contact object has been called, all the information from the database will be assigned to the request as an array of contacts. And because we want to enable filtering, we need to add a predicate to filter the contact by name. To do that, just type in not search text is empty. So if there's a value in search text, request dot predicate equals ns predicate format name contains percent at search text. Line 29, what that does, it does a search on the contact name, which is this one here. Let me just go to it. It searches this attribute, the name attribute, which is this name here, and it's looking for anything that's similar to the name that we pass in within the search text. So as I've done before, if I enter F or Fred within the search text, the code would realize that the name appears within the database. And the next thing we need to do is to create a do statement to catch any errors. Just type in context equals try context dot fetch request. Line 34, what that does, it fetches the contacts from core data and assigns them to the contacts array. And then to display any error messages or any errors if they happen, just type in print error localized description. Now I'll just compile it just to make sure it is correct. Oh, there's an error, cannot find item in scope. So item, that's within content view, so we need to delete that. We need to delete everything in content view. Or we can just delete content view, because we don't need it at the moment. So delete content view. And then, yeah, let's just re-add content view. Makes it easier. So plain content view. Content view. Delete the preview if we're not using previews. I'll compile it again. Cannot find items. The item is located somewhere else. So it's located within the persistence controller. So with that one, yeah, just delete lines 16 to 19, and then recompile it. It's built successfully, which is good. And then go back to the contact view model. The next method we need to add is add contact. The purpose of add contact is to enable the user interface to save the actual contact to the database. So typing func add contact name string phone number string. Let new contact equals contact open bracket context. And what this does, it creates a new contact object in core data context. New contact dot name equals name, and new contact dot phone number is equal to phone number. And then call save context. So we need to create that function now, save context. Private function save context. Do try context. Save fetch contacts. Attach. And then just print any error message that happens. Lines 45 to 53 does the following. It's a private function to save changes to core data context and triggers a new fetch. And then line 47 attempts to save changes in the core data context. And then line 49 fetches the updated contacts to reflect the changes. And then line 51 displays any errors that's happened. The next thing we need to do is to create another function called update contact, because we want the user to be able to update the contact name or phone number. Contact name string, phone number, string. So these are the new parameters that the user can update to. So if they made an error in the database and they spelled someone's name or number incorrectly, they can change the information in the database by passing the parameters to core data. Contact.name equals name. Contact.phone number equals phone number. Save contact. Save context. The next function we need to do is called delete contact. Because we want the user to be able to delete records from the database when they don't need them anymore. Delete contact, contact, contact. Context dot delete contact. So we're passing the content object to delete method or the context. So we're passing the contact, which is the person's name, and their phone number, which is the object. We're passing it to the delete method within the database to remove the person's record from the database. So because now we have removed the record from the database, we need to save it so that it's permanently removed. So just type in save context. Now I'll compile again, let's build it again. That built successfully. So next week we'll be starting on the content view. The content view will enable the user to interact with the database or core data by providing text fields and buttons to enable inserts and update and delete. Today we will continue with the core data tutorial by adding the GUI elements to the content view. The elements that we will be adding includes a search box to enable users to perform their searches, and a list to display the results from the search and to filter the results of the search, and also an add button will be included as well to enable the user to add a new contact to their database. Within your content view, add the following after line 10. At environment open bracket backslash manage object context private bar view context. Environment was spelled incorrectly, so just update it. The E should be there. So the purpose of line 11 is to manage the object contents, and the purpose of that is to enable read and writes and deletes so that the application can delete records from the core data table and update records and retrieve records. Next thing we need to do is to create a state object. At state object, private var, view model, content, contact view model. And then we need to create a state variable at state, private var search text. And the search text variable is used for the search box when filtering the list of contacts. At state, private var is record not found equals to false. And the purpose of that variable, if the record isn't found, then it will display an alert or another view so that the user knows that the record isn't in the database. Next thing we need to create is an initializer. Let context equals persistent controller dot shared dot container dot view context. And what that line does on line 21, it gets the shared core data contents from the persistence controller. And then the next thing we need to do is to initialize the contact view model. So we just type in the following: view model equals state object wrap value contact view model open bracket context. So we pass the context to the contact view model constructor, and then the return value will then initialize the view model, which is this view model here. Now I'll just compile it just to make sure that it's correct. Still compiling. Compile. On line 27, add the following, delete the text field, the text, and then add the following, navigation view, VStack, text field, search, contacts, text, $, search text. And then we need to just add some padding so it looks a bit neater. Background. So what we're going to do now is we're going to make sure that the text field has rounded corners, so it's all curvy. Rounded rectangle. Corner radius. Well, it should be corner radius. Corner radius. 10. Fill. Open bracket. Color. Gray. Opacity. 0.2. And then next thing we need to do is add horizontal padding. 10. And then add a foreground color. Foreground color. Primary. Font. Headline. Now let's run it. You should see the search contacts text fields on the screen. Yeah, that's right. See if you can type in there. Let's code is a bit slow, but we can type in there. And the next thing we need to do is to add our list GUI element. So just type in list. Let filtered contacts equals view model dot contacts dot filter contact in. So we add that to the closure. And then we need to type in search text dot is empty or contact dot name question mark dot lower case. It should be lowercase They should be localized. Name question mark dot localized case insensitive contains search text, or if it's not found, just return false. Line 39, what that does, it just enables the user to pass their search criteria to the localization, to the localized insensitive contains method of the string object, which is the name. And then if the two values are the same, it will then return true. So even if the two values are, like one is lowercase and one is uppercase, it will return true. That's why we're using the keyword localized case insensitive contains. So it will return true, that is found. And the next thing we need to do is if it's not found, so if it returns false, then this will happen. If filtered contacts is empty, so we need to create a not found view. So we'll do this first, just type in the slashes and type in not found view. That's the view we need to create for the not found record. And then what we need to do is if it is found, the contact that you're searching for within the list, it will execute this line for each filtered contacts ID cell contacts in add a navigation link navigation link destination and we need to create a contact detailed view. So let's do that now. Create a contact detail view, which is a SwiftUI view. select SwiftUI, and then add the name of the view, contact, detail, and then within that view, we need to create a variable, which is contact, an object variable, contact, and then we have to go back to the content view, and then within the content view, we need to add the following, which is contact detail, open bracket, contact, contact. We'll compile it just to make sure it's correct. Compiling, it's nearly compiled. Oh, there's a mistake, so what is that? Oh, we can delete our previews because we're not using them. It's compiling at the moment. Yeah, now it's compiled. So the next thing we need to do is to add a HStack, image, system, name, person.circle.fill. So that will just display an image on the left-hand side. Dot resizable. Dot frame. Width 30. Height 30. So we're just setting the image height and width. Dot foreground color. Dot blue. Dot padding. Dot trailing 10. And the purpose of that line 55, is to add some space between the image and the text. Text contact.name is there's no value. If it's nil, just put 2 commas, put a space there. And then if you want to delete or contact from the database using a list, then you just need to add the following: dot on delete, and then add delete contacts. We also need to import core data as well. Forgotten to do that. Import core data. Next thing we need to do is add the delete contacts function. So we will add that now. You can add that after line 67. Private function delete contacts at offsets index sets. For index in offset, let contact equals view model dot contains, contacts index. So it's looping through each element of the array and then getting the contact, and then we will pass the contact to the delete contact method of the view model. Delete contacts contact. The next thing we need to do now is after line 64, add the following: navigation link, destination. We need to add another SwiftUI view, and this one will be called add contact view. So let's create that one now. New file, SwiftUI file, the name of the file is add contact view. Click on create, and then on line 11 add the following: or anywhere after line 10, add the following. In this session, we'll be implementing the add content view and the not found view. The purpose of the add contact view is to enable the user to add a new person to the database. So if you type in threads, blogs, and then assign a telephone number to thread blogs, you can enter anything, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then click on add contact. Go back, as you can see, thread blogs has been added to the database, and here's the details. And the purpose of the not found view is when the user wants to filter or search the database, if a record isn't found in the system, it will show a message to the user that the record isn't found. For example, if I type in K, the record's not found, because there's no names or no telephone numbers that includes the word K or the letter K. But if I type in A, then the record is found, that's Andrew. Or if I type in blogs, BL for blogs, it comes up with thread blogs. So this is the functionality we're creating in this session. We are continuing from last week. So open your add contact view SwiftUI file that we created last week. And then you should have this object variable, which is a view model, which is called contact view model. And then we need to create 2 more state variables, which are at state private var name. Let's put a person's name. At state private var phone number. Person's phone number. And then delete lines 18. Next thing we need to do is to create a form. The purpose of the form is to enable like a neater data entry section. And then add a section for the form. And a header, text, view contact. Text field, name, text, $ name. So there we're just binding the at state name attribute to the text field so that the user can assign the value that they're entering from the text field to the at state name variable. And then we need to create another text field for the phone number. Text. Phone number. Next thing we need to do is to create a button so that the user is able to add the new contact to the database by clicking on the button, add contact, view model, add contact, name, and phone number. Now that the name and phone number has been added to the view model, we need to clear the previous entries. So we set the variable to blank. And then after line 32, add a navigation bar title, dot navigation bar title, add contact. Now let's compile it. There's an error on line 27. That should be phone number, not phone. Let's compile it again. There's another error. That should be navigation bar title, not navigation bar title display mode. So that should be navigation bar title. I'll compile it again. Compiled. Now we need to return to the content view. This is what we done last week. So this button, when it's clicked, it will call the add contact view and then pass the view model to the add contact view. So now we can test it and see if it works. So now I'll just add my name and any number, and click on add contact and then click on back, and then it should be added to the database, which is here. And this view that I'm clicking on now, that will display the actual row that I'm selecting. So if I select this row with my name, you'll see my name and the telephone number on that view, which we'll implement later. So if you want to filter, as I showed earlier, if I type in A, it will just locate ABC only, because there's nothing else that includes the name, that includes the letter A. We just located ABC. Do it again because Xcode is a bit slow. ABC. But if I enter K, it will locate my name, Kevin, and the letter K. And you can also delete. So if you want to delete, you just have to strike it backwards. Swipe. So now the next view we will implement is the not found view. So if the user enters a name that's not in the database, it will show a little error message that the record is not found. So to do that, just create the view called not found. Not found view, create a new SwiftUI view. And then we can delete our preview. And then within the not found view, delete line 12. And then enter a VStat, type a VStat. Type text, record not found. Font, title, dot foreground color, dot red, dot padding, image, system, name, and then type in the name of the system image, which is exclamation mark. Dot triangle, dot fill. So that will display an exclamation mark as an image. Dot font, large title, dot foreground color, red, text, the record you are looking for does not exist. Dot font, dot headline, dot multi-line, text alignment, dot center, dot padding. Now we go back to the content view, and then on comment line 44. That we done last week. Now let's run the app again. And this time we'll test to make sure that the not found view is displayed when the name is not found in the database. So now I'll test out the functionality of not found. So I'll type in thread or F. See, the record's not found because we don't have any names that includes or starts with F. Record's not found. Type in E, it is found. Today we'll be implementing the contact details screen. So when the user clicks or selects a row, then it will navigate to the details view, and then the user will have the option to edit their contact or delete their contact from the database. So this is what we're working on today. Within your contact details view, create the three following variables, which are @environment, it's spelled incorrectly, @environment, presentation mode, var presentation mode. And the purpose of line 12 is to enable the user to dismiss, get rid of the current screen when they're no longer using it, and then navigate to the other screen. @state, private var edited name, @state, private var edited phone number, and also we need the contact object variable that we created last week, so that needs to stay there. And then on line 20, create a navigation view. Navigation view, view stack, and form. So the form will have a section header, which is called contact detail, and then the section text font will be title for the font style, and for the font weight, dot bold. And then within that section we will have a text field, name, text, edited name, and also a text field for the phone number, $, edited phone number. Next thing we need to do is, after line 29, add a button to enable the user to perform an update. For example, to edit the name or the number in the field. So when I click on update, the new information will be saved to our data. And then we need a caption. So for the caption for the button, to type in text, update, contact, And then we need to style the text, foreground color, dot white, font, title, padding, dot background color is blue, corner radius is 10, dot padding, and then on the button action we need to create an update method. So we need to create a new function called update contact. And then when the user clicks on the update contact button, the current screen, it needs to dismiss. So we have to use presentation mode dot wrap value dot dismiss to dismiss the screen. And then after lines 46, add the new function, which is called update contact. So just type in private function update contact.name is equal to edited name, contact.phone number is equal to edited phone number. And then to do the actual save for the edit, we need to wrap it into a do block and then catch any errors that could happen in the catch block. So just type in print error updating contact. And then show the error. So to perform the actual update, we need to call the save method of the manage object context. So just type in try contact manage object context dot save. So manage object context, it does all the data manipulations such as the insert updates and the deletes within core data. And then the next thing we need to do is we need to add on a pair. So after line 45, we type in dot on a pair. And then type edit, edited name equals contact.name. Unwrap it, safe unwrapping. If the name is nil, then just enter blanks. So what that does, when the user clicks on the list, on the content view with all the list of names and numbers, it will extract the name property of the contact object, and within the name property, it will assign the name, the person's name, into the edited name variable, so that the edited name variable is then displayed within the text fields, which is on this line, ready to be edited or deleted. And we do the same thing for edited phone number as well. So edited phone number equals contact dot phone number. Safe unwrapping. If it's nil, just assign it with blanks, blank space. And then Now, I think we can run it and see if it works. So it's just compiling at the moment. So now I'll select my name. As you see, it goes to the detailed view. I should be able to update my name. Update the phone number. Put 123. Click on update contact to send me new information to core data. And now you can see that my name has been updated to Kevin A. And then when I click on the link again, you can see the phone number has been updated as well. In next week's tutorial, I'll show you how to do unit tests and to include them within your core data project so that we can test for the inserts and the deletes and the selects. In this tutorial, we will unit test the contact view model that was created in the previous core data tutorial. Within your Xcode project, to add a unit test, click on Editor and then click on Add Target. Type in unit test, or you can just type in unit, click on Next, and then click on Next again. And now our unit test is created. Next thing we need to do is to delete everything within the core data tester file. And now add the following. Import core data, because we want to test core data, at testable, import core data tester. So this is the project that we're testing, core data tester, which is the same project name here. Now we create our class contact view model. This is what we're testing. Test. Extend XC test case. Now, the next thing we need to do is to include the variables that will be used in the test, the public class variables, var in memory container, ns persisting container, var context, ns manage object context, var view model contact view model. On line 14, we created a object variable which is ns_persist container. And the purpose of that is to enable core data to have a in-memory reference. And on line 15, we created a core data manage object context. And line 16 enable us to use our view model within the test. Next thing we need to do is to create our setup methods. So just type in override function setup super.setup. And then we need to create an in-memory core data container for testing. So let's create a new instance of it, and it's persistent container, give it a name. Name is core data tester. Let description equals ns persist store description ns persistent store description. Description dot type equals ns in memory store type. And then in memory container dot persistent store description passes an array there. And then the final one is in memory container dot load persistent stores. Just call the empty completion handler. So that should be the curly bracket and curly bracket here. So to use the inline core data memory, we need to create a context for it for testing, which will be used for the manage object context within the memory container. So just type in context in memory container new context, and then we need to initialize the view model for testing. View model contact view model context. And then the next thing we need to do is to add our teardown cleanup method. So just type in override function teardown. Super.teardown. To clean up the resources, just type in n memory container equals to nil. Context equals to nil. View model is equal to nil. And then that should be func, not fun. Be func. And on line 15, we're missing an exclamation mark. Without the exclamation mark on line 15, we cannot set the contents to nil. So just apply an exclamation mark on line 15. And then I'll just compile it just to see if it's compilable. So there's an error on line 18 and 19. So it seems like it's to do with setup. Because the U should be uppercase U. And on the super, the U should be uppercase U for setup. Now let's compile it again. It compiles. So now we can do our first unit test to test an add method within core data to see if we can store a new record within core data. But this will be stored within the in-memory version of core data, the temporary cache. So type in func test add contact view model dot add contact John Doe, telephone number 123-456-7890. Next thing we need to do is to perform an NS fetch request. So just type in let fetch request NS fetch request contact dot fetch request. And the purpose of calling the NS fetch request is to make sure that the new record that we added, which is John Doe 123-456-7890 telephone number, to make sure this record has been added to the in-memory cache within core data. So when we call the add contact method within the view model, it will execute the save statement, the save method within core data, the save context. So within the fetch request, we're just making sure that the record was saved. Don't know why it doesn't like that one. NS fetch request. Oh, because result is there. Yeah, result shouldn't be there. It should just be NS fetch request. Yeah, that's right now. So now we can check to make sure that the new record is really stored within the memory cache of core data. So that will mean that our new model for adding a new record is working correctly within the unit test and within the application. So just type in do. This is used to catch any errors. Let contacts equals try context dot fetch request xct assert equals contact dot count. So if it's equal to 1, that means the record was saved successfully in the database. Else, that means some error happened. There should be 1 contact in the database. If an error happens, just catch the error. Let's see, T failed. Failed to fetch contacts. So now we'll test out our first test method, unit test method, to add a new contact to the core data in memory database. To run your unit test, you can click on the diamond on line 40, this one here, or if you just want to run all unit tests, you can click on the diamond on line 12, and that will run all your unit tests. But because we just have one unit test at the moment, I just click on this one. Just compiling at the moment, takes a bit of time. Oh yeah, we need to show the debug window. To show the debug, just click on View, Debug Area, Activate Console, to show all output. It's good to show it, to show any error messages. And then, if the test is successful, this will be green. Still trying to run the test. Takes a bit of time. Still trying to run. Xcode is really slow. Might have to stop the simulator and try it again. Select a different simulator as well. Run it again. Now it seems like it's trying to compile the test and port it to the simulator. The Xcode's really playing up. I'll try to rerun it. And test again. Still trying to compile the test. There's something wrong with Xcode. It won't execute the tests for cloning, for the unit tests. But we can continue to add the other test methods. And if you're stuck, just message me on the channel. So the next test method that we will add is to delete a contact. It's similar to adding, but we're just deleting. We'll call the test delete contact. And then what we need to do is to delete line 57. And then we have to create and add a contact to the database that we want to delete. So just type in let contact equals contact context context contact.name is equal to e contact dot phone number is equal to 777 hyphen 777 hyphen 7777. And then now we will try to save the record that we just added, try context dot save. Now that we saved the record, we will try to delete it. View model dot delete contact contact. So we want to delete this contact we just created, which is Eve, with the phone number 777. And then we do what we've done previously with the request, fetch request. But now we want to make sure that there's no records in the database. Then we just type in there should be no contact in the database after deletion. And that would delete a contact. I'll try to run the test again just to see if Xcode Simulator is working. Xcode Simulator sometimes is really slow and it hangs. The simulators are still not working. So for the final test, that will be to update a contact. Similar to add a contact, so I just copy and paste what we've done for the add contact test. As I said before, you can try to run this on your own machines, but it will work. But if it doesn't work, send me a message. But it will work. It's just that my computer is sometimes very slow. Test. Update. Contact. So that's the name of the test. And then let's copy the lines 55 to 58. And then paste it anywhere after line 75. And then for the contact name, just assign Alice. For the phone number, just type in 987 654 3210. And then within the view model this time, we'll be testing the update contact method. So just replace add contact with update contact. The name of the contact, you want to update the name from Alice to the new name that will be Bob. Oh yeah, we need to pass the contact object here as well. And then the person's name, which is Bob, which is there. And the telephone number, let's update it to 555 555 555. And then the next thing we need to do is, we've done our fetch request to see if an update has been applied. And then on line 85, instead of using contacts, we're typing updated contact. And then within the fetch request, just append .first. You want to get the first record that was updated. On line 58, just add or update to updated contact dot name. So the name has to be equal to Bob, because that's the new name that we're updating with. And then we add this message. The contact's name should be updated to Bob. And then we just do the same thing for the phone number. Which is this. Let's copy and paste it. So the phone number should be updated to that, which is 555-555, and then hyphen, and then 5555 at the end. The contact's phone number should be updated to, the contact's phone number should be updated. And then when you run the unit tests on your own computer, on your own MacBook, they will all pass. So you can run them all by clicking on the diamond symbol here on line 12. And then when it passes, they'll be all green. So these are the 3 tests. There's test 1, test add contact. This is test 2, test delete contact. And this is test 3, test update contact. And if you want a test to fail, you can just apply that change on line 48. Like here, we're expecting 1 record to be added. But if you want to fail the test, you can just type in anything that's not equal to true. So 2, because we're just adding 1 record to the database, so that will fail. But there's only 1 record in the database and not 2. We could enter 100. You just enter the opposite here when you want to fail it. And here as well, just enter the opposite. So instead of adding 0 for records to be deleted, you could just do 1. So that will fail the test. Or you could just do anything that's not equal to 0. Any number that's not equal to 0. Thank you for joining us. If you found this tutorial helpful, please comment, like and subscribe. See you next week.